religion has a lot of ideas of how and where to find God, you know, and in what way and in what books. And for me, it was mainly within books and within prayer. And there were a lot of instructions of how to do it. There's a lot of experience within various religions. But something within the art world, dafka in the place where no one was telling me what to do, it was the strongest and most concrete connection to my search. Because that's when I felt I was beginning to really get to know me and getting to know whatever deity I was trying to get in contact with. You know, you can call it God, you can call it whatever, but you know, the nothingness that contemporary art brings you into was for me a new beginning to find the something I was looking for in a way. I was brought in what we call here a yeshiva, sort of like a school for Jewish studies or religious studies. My father used to work in the school. I grew up with around me 400 students seated around stenderim, which is like a wooden construction to hold up books. And it was a very powerful start, you know, it has a lot of magnitude. Prayer has a lot of magnitude when you have 400 people praying together. When I was 17, I sort of finished high school quickly and went into a different yeshiva, a bit what you might call ultra-Orthodox, and I studied there for 3 years. But I felt I hadn't found the right language for me to research and to connect. The word in Hebrew is midrash, which means the house of maybe quest or the house of search. And I felt that I wasn't in the right place of search for me. I was looking for a different language. And then, by chance, I met a teacher who was sort of like a spiritual guide for a few years, and somehow the meeting between us sent me to art school, to Bezalel, to the Bezalel Art Academy. And there I found myself in a whole new realm, a whole new world, a very vast and wild place of expression and thought. And that actually enabled me to find a language for my quest, for my beit midrash, my house of quest, my house of search. My artistic quest is my life quest too, you know, it's a spiritual quest, it's a search of connection, a search of renewal and community. I don't have like this compartment thing, you know, when I go into my studio and when I go into synagogue, this is all like one big thing for me. And when I hear readings in a synagogue, if I hear a rabbi talking, and when I open the Bible, the Torah, whatever it is, it all reflects on the same areas, which is for me, you know, a search of how do I connect to my higher power, whatever that is, and then afterwards, how do I connect to myself and how do I connect to religion? You know, these things don't always coexist that well, you know, religion, God, me. This is like a language I've been trying to sort out. Most of my work in the past years has been based on a very strong inspiration and search in terms of temple, identity, hierarchy within religious life. So these are things that I go to bed with at night and I wake up with them in the morning. This work over here, and actually the studio that we're in, is part of a climax point in the work of probably 4 years around ideas of temple and liturgy and worship. A lot of Jewish prayer is about when the temple will be built, what kind of temple it is. A lot of my work was asking, what are the expectations, right? What are we looking forward to? Like a building, marble floors, what is this about? And I was trying to think of taking the symbols from this temple, this vision of a temple that's going to stand forever, a rigid structure, and try and sort of touch them and bring them into a more tangible sense of how these instruments could actually become spiritual instruments. So one of the first ideas was that I was looking for a temple that wouldn't be permanent. I was looking for something tentative, because in history, the tabernacle came before the temple. You know, when the temple's built, the first thing that the Bible says is God comes to David and he says, you know, I've been doing quite well in a tent. So Why are you building this rigid structure? What are we in search of? What is our search in this permanent place? I mean, life is so unpermanent. The work that I put together for the Biennale has been a work that we call Enenu Kaleh, translates into English, has not ceased. The work itself is boats made out of paraffin wax, right? And they're floating above water. It's sort of like prayer. It's always going somewhere, and there's something about it like it's always there. I think the work is about that. Is about this endless quest that's always asking, and because they're immobile, they sort of inviting you to say what's going on that journey on that boat. You know, where's that boat carrying and where's it going? Because I don't always know where my boats are going. I don't always know where my prayers are going. And I think the work is sort of about that, about knowing that there is prayer, and there is like the soul, you know, the neshama. It's always praying. It's always trying to get to wherever it's trying to get to. But we don't always know where it's trying to get to, and I don't think it knows where it's trying to get to all the time. And this work is a bit about that, about this tendency, and it's also a sort of invitation to come and say, maybe you know what the boat's name is, you know? Maybe you know where the boat's going, come tell me. I'd be really glad to hear. My hope is to find community, you know, to find people to be in this conversation with. I think that's the most important thing for me.